Yep. Well, ha! I didn't even think about that being an option, did you?
I don't know why I didn't think about that either.
Yo, what's going on, guys? So today, I'm gonna show you the poor man's way for how to get a cab back on a frame when you don't have a lift. Let's go ahead and get into it. Essentially, how we did this, in order to get the cab off the frame without a lift, or without, with just a jack and a couple stands. So basically, we'd get a jack under one side, lift it up a little bit, and then we would get a 4x4 with some jack stands, sit the 4x4 underneath the cab, and then put the jack stands at the lowest point, set the cab back down to be on the 4x4, then you go to the other side and you replicate it, and you just shimmy it up. If some of you guys are in the same set of circumstances where you don't have a lift or anything like that, you just have jacks and jack stands, just be very careful in terms of when you're shimmying it up and make sure that your 4x4s are adequately put underneath the cab securely. So I'm gonna show you guys how we shimmied our cab back down onto the frame. Overall, I think that it was a decent method. If you've got a lift, definitely use that. I wouldn't necessarily advocate for doing it this way. I feel that it's a little bit unsafe, so if you are going to attempt to do it this way, make sure that you've got a one-piece block to sit on top of the jack, and maybe a better way to fasten the end of the jack onto that block, so that way there's not anything moving. As the cab and the angle began to change when you begin to shimmy it down, the blocks on top of the jack wanted to kind of move out from underneath the cab, making it a lot more unsafe. So just make sure that you've constantly got jack stands all underneath the truck as fail safes. I do not think it's a good idea to just start popping jack stands out when you got a jack underneath it. Make sure there are constantly jack stands there in case the cab wants to, suddenly fall off the jack. Because the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a situation where you got a cab slanted towards you wanting to fall. And I think those principles apply to a lot of different things. Anyway. All right, guys, that pretty much does it for today. I know it wasn't a lot of content. It was just us getting the cab back on the frame, but I think it looks awesome. I can already see how the lowered springs are working, how the truck overall is low and it looks good. I'm pretty excited about the way that our firewall turned out, and I'm pretty excited about the way that the undercoating turned out. Everything looks really, really good. Anyway, for next time, I haven't put up a video talking about the rear end yet, and I know that you guys saw footage of it cleaned up and underneath the truck in this one, but I feel like for a lot of you guys out there who are wanting to know how to go 5-on-5, I want to discuss with you guys the problems and issues that we had converting that rear end to a 5-lug, and just discuss maybe some alternatives and options for those of you guys who are wanting to change the bolt pattern on your C10, whether it be a 60 or whether it be a 67, whatever it is. If you want to be able to change the rear end to a 5-lug, 6-lug, 4-lug, whatever, I want to show you guys some options in terms of how you're going to do that. So yeah. Anyway, if you like what you see so far, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and I'll see you guys next week.